Is there anything worse than a hyped up whiskey that leaves you feeling like you're wanting more on the palate when you taste it?
I can think of a few things.
I mean, there's a few things,
But not much else.
in the world of whiskey, that's a pretty big bummer. But we're tasting totally blind, and we do it this way so that when we run across whiskeys like that, you get our honest opinions, and you can find out, are these hyped bottles disappointing us or not? This may even not even be hyped. It could be just something sitting on the shelves, and we find out that we've got a gem in our glasses in front of us.
A diamond in the rough, if you will.
We'll never know until we taste this. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Thank you for joining us today. If you are new here, Erin is more of the social sipper. Yep. I'm more of the whiskey nerd. That's the dynamic we bring. And we taste things totally blind because we get frustrated with all the hype and the FOMO, the fear of missing out around all the whiskey that you hear everybody talking about that you never get to try yourself.
Yep.
But thanks to our Patreon community, thanks to our viewers here, we have a lot of samples that we get to put into our blind sample pool. So this could be almost anything. It's been drawn at random, and we're going to taste it or smell it and taste it, let you know what we think about it, give it a rating before we even find out how much it costs. And then we're going to weigh the value of the price tag versus the taste of what we just sampled here in the glass. And we're going to see if we think it's worth it or not before we find out what we're drinking. And this is all in service to you guys because we want to give you honest opinions that are separate and apart from any labels or hype or bias. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into this. And if you like all that stuff I just said about eliminating all that stuff for your opinions, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. What you waiting for?
This is Stinky Feet and Library Books.
Oh,
in like the best possible way.
This smells crazy.
Yeah.
This smells to me like fruit that's been left in a room with the door shut for a real long time.
That sounds disgusting. It doesn't smell disgusting.
Okay. Let me rephrase what I was saying. It's a room that's had the door shut for a really long time, and then somebody went in and put fruit in there a week ago and shut the door, and the fruit's getting borderline too old, but you get the old room still too.
So it's like a musty room with fruit in it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the better way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a must, like that's when I say books, like library books, I'm thinking like old paper, kind of musty, aged, which I kind of like in a whiskey because I feel like that's what you're supposed to get because you are aging things in wood, which is what paper's made out of. So I don't know.
You know what? And I want to go ahead and say this. This smells like bourbon.
It does.
Okay. And when you're dealing with bourbon, America's native spirit, you know, one of the things about it is that there's not a lot of funny business going on with it. It's 51% corn or more, and it's aged in new charred oak. And there's some other requirements as well, as far as like proof points off the still and in the barrel and all that stuff. But like the essence of bourbon is that it's aged in a barrel, and most of the flavor, new oak, and most of the flavor in bourbon comes from the barrel. That's where the flavor really comes from, is the wood. And this, to me, is, I'm not going to say it's my favorite smell. Like, I like it a lot, but I kind of prefer stuff that's a little bit more boisterous as far as aromas go. But this, to me, smells, this is like the perfect thing to let somebody smell if you want to showcase what an oak barrel can do to distilled spirits.
Yeah.
It smells like what the oak influence is in a whiskey.
Yeah, there's something familiar on the nose that I'm trying to pinpoint. I think it might just be like an old book. There's just like these old pages that I just keep picturing.
So your family, a lot of your family lives in Central Illinois. Not going to dox her family, don't worry. They live in Central Illinois.
Yeah.
There's a town nearby called New Salem. And there's these like log cabins. Or if you've been anywhere that has old log cabins, this kind of
where you do like those, like do those reenactments where people like dress up like those old tiny cities.
And you walk in, you smell this old log cabin that's been built for 100 plus years or something. And there's also fresh cut wood because they're sawing wood to make a scene or whatever. You get that as well.
Yeah.
This is literally a spectrum of wood on the nose.
I can see that. Shall we taste it?
We shall. Cheers.
I don't know how to feel. I'm not upset. I just don't know what I'm thinking. Like, it's good. It's good. The finish is kind of short-lived. kind of fell off a cliff, but I'm not tasting anything specifically. I'm tasting wood. I think maybe we just got like the barrel stuff in my head. I'm not picking out like a vanilla note. Maybe there's vanilla. What are you getting? I'm at a loss.
I mean, there's some vanilla caramel, your typical bourbon flavors, vanilla caramel oak. But the star of the show here is definitely the wood. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I wish it were, for my personal preferences, I wish it were sweeter oak. I like a nice sweet oak. Mm-hmm. But this is a little bit more on neutral.
Yeah.
A neutral ground. This is like it's not fig or dates, but it's like the filling that you would get from like a fig or date bar, like a Fig Newton or a date, or like we have those Nature's Bakery fig bars.
Healthy fig bars.
Right. It's not a fresh fig. It's more of like a fig that's been turned into a paste.
Okay.
That has then been smeared on top of the piece of wood.
And alcohol.
And doused with alcohol.
There's like the alcohol burn. Yeah. I can get behind that 100%. Because it's not as sweet as maybe a typical bourbon would be. But there's a lot of wood influence. And sometimes that can be drying. Sometimes that can be kind of, there's a little sharpness there. It's not too much, but there's like a little sharp. Just a tinge.
I will say, after I got that the fig date paste on the palate, I'm definitely getting it on the nose now too.
Also, you have a hair that I just keep watching dangle.
Get it?
It's a gray one.
Oh, okay.
It was just like hanging on, and every time you would talk, it would just like shake and dangle.
Hey, Father Time is undefeated. If you think you're gonna beat him, you're joking yourself.
I love your gray hairs.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Them.
Enjoy it while it lasts. That's what we're here
favorite.
for. Second sip.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. Maybe a little bit more oak on the second sip, so maybe a slightly more drying on the finish. The finish didn't seem to fall off like it did as much on the first time because the finish kind of built upon itself. Mm-hmm. Pretty similar experience the second sip, though. Yeah,
I mean, I've got nothing new to add. I will say, and I don't often do this, so I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying that I know what this is because I don't think this would be in our pool. It's a bottle I've had quite a few times. This reminds me of Elijah Craig 18.
Okay.
But
why?
A higher proof point.
What about it reminds you of that?
Oak forward.
Okay.
And it has like this dark fruit thread through it as well.
Okay.
And that the best Elijah Craig 18s have that. Some of the worst ones lean way towards the like nutty side and they're not very sweet. The best ones lean towards like strong oak forward presence, but it's 90 proof, so it's not super strong.
Okay.
But like a very oak forward profile with like this dark fruit background, like dark, deep, red, purple fruit sweetness. That's what this has, but it seems to drink higher than 90 proof to me.
I would think so, yeah.
What I'm hoping is going to happen right now is we're going to find out the price, and this is going to be very inexpensive or reasonably priced at least.
What would you feel comfortable with?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is why I'm calling this out, because I think this is important. Elijah Craig 18 is like if you get it at the distillery, it's a $200 bottle.
Oh my.
I think retail in regular stores at minimum is like either 160 or 180. I hope this is like $80.
Okay.
I hope, because if so, this is a fantastic alternative. I'm not even saying I think it's got 18 years of age on it. I'm just saying the way that the oak presents in a very forward nature.
The experience you're having is a very similar experience you've had when you've had the Elijah Craig 18. Got it.
And it's not often that I have such a clear and present comparison to make. But like, honestly, I've gotten tired of buying Elijah Craig 18s because they're $200 when I go to Heaven Hill, and I'm just not buying them anymore.
Yeah.
But I would love to get something like this periodically. Before we find out price, what's your rating?
Oh, I'm going to give it just okay, honestly. For me, it's fine. I don't have to have a bottle of it. I maybe would get a pour at a bar, but I'm not going to, buy a bottle for my collection.
Okay. I'll go thumbs up. Pending price.
Okay.
That's the biggie here.
What's the number?
I want this to be $80. This is number 70 in our pool. $80, I'm happy.
Oh.
Is it big? What is it?
$500? American dollars? Or are these like yen? What is this? This is 500 American US dollars.
Are you kidding
500
me?
USD. I'm thumbs down.
I can see it. I'm
at
gonna
500 USD.
I'm gonna go. Look, thumbs down doesn't mean we think it's bad. It just means we're not going to buy it. We don't think the value is there.
Yes.
And this
so
is,
we're not. Our rating is not solely based on taste. It is based on value. What we feel like the value is.
Price tag versus what we tasted in the glass. This is here's the way I say it. If I spent $500 and this is what I got, I'm bummed.
You'd probably try to find the silver lining so you wouldn't cry.
I'm bummed. At that point, I'm bummed. I like this though. Like it's got this crazy barrel influence. It's got this dark fruit influence. There's like a little bit of like this there's weird funk in there. This is a crazy pour.
I wonder if it's super old and that's why
it's
so expensive.
Okay, we're gonna flip the script real quick. Don't buy this, just buy Elijah Craig 18. Went on that whole soliloquy about how this could be a budget alternative.
But then you're also taking a chance of it not being like the good batch where you get this flavor profile. You could get the kind of batches where they're more nutty.
Because Elijah Craig 18s are single barrels, so you never really know what you're gonna get. So, man, $500, thumbs down. I'm not buying this at $500.
I'm not. There's no way. Do you want to find out what we're drinking?
Oh, now that I know it, yeah.
No,
what is it? What is it?
What? Okay, this is thanks to Justin Williams for our stuff to say. I will say this is 90 proof whiskey, which I am shooketh by.
Elijah Craig 18 is 90 proof.
It's it's not Elijah Craig 18.
I don't think it is. I don't think we have that in our
But it's 90 proof. I would say it drank about 100, 105 proof. That's what I would have put the proof at. So I'm kind of shaken by that. This is George Dickel 18-year limited release.
Okay. Okay. So the earthiness that's in there, like the way the wood's coming across, that old
the mustiness.
Wood, yeah.
Because I didn't pick up on earthy specifically, like dirt earthy, but I picked up on like a mustiness. Yeah? Find yourself on the back?
I mean, I did say 18 years. Elijah Craig 18.
Oh.
But I said it wasn't that. I mean, I literally spot on hit the age on the head.
There you go.
Like, blind. Wow. Okay.
There you go. You're a genius.
I'm definitely not. I get it wrong 99% of the time.
Okay, so what are your final thoughts on this?
Final thoughts are, don't buy this. I actually think...
It's not bad, but don't buy it.
Here's the thing.
The value's not there.
The value's not
there. If
there.
you're going for a value buy, this is not that.
The value is not there. I think Justin actively hates this bottle and regrets that he bought it. Now, I do know, and I'm not going to put Justin on blast here, he did not pay that for it. He got this as part of a bundle, and it was actually being discounted heavily.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think he paid half. I think he got more than 50% off.
We don't know.
This.
Don't speak to what you don't know.
He told me.
Okay.
I just can't remember the specific number, but he got this for a very good price.
Discounted.
Even still, do I like this better than Elijah Craig 18? I think it's on par with that.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that if you are ever considering this bottle and you're like, man, I see that, I go to my Total Wine, I go to my big box chain, whatever, they have a bottle of this sitting in the glass case. It's $500.
It must be great, right? Because it's $500.
Exactly. And I want to spring for something really special. I'm getting married, my dad's retiring, I'm retiring, whatever's happening. And you're going to get that really special bottle and you're really going to splurge on it. Do not buy this. It's not bad, but it's not $500 good. $500, you gotta absolutely blow me away.
Fair.
And this doesn't do that. I enjoy it for what it is. It is a very specific profile, and I would really recommend an Elijah Craig 18 over this. Now knowing the price, I think it showed in the video. I had so much hope that this was going to be like an $80.
I know.
Budget.
You were hoping that we just found an Elijah Craig alternative, like a dupe.
Because I mean, some Elijah Craig 18s are really good.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we were going to find like an $80 solution to this problem.
I'm sorry. We'll keep looking.
I will say this: George Dickel 18-year is $500 for their special release. There are single barrels out there that are labeled George Dickel 15-year, and almost every single one that I know of are 16 to 18 years old, and those are $70.
Okay. Well, what do they taste like?
Single barrels, so they're different. You don't get the quality control of this batch, but some of them are really good. We've
Okay.
had some that are very, very, very good. So what I would recommend, if you're looking for this profile and you don't want to spend $200 on an Elijah Craig 18, get a George Dickel 15-year. The reason it says 15-year on the label is because they have to actually pay the TTB to get an older age statement on the label, and George Dickel is just cheap, and they don't.
But you don't know that.
Why would you not get a 17 or 18-year label if you could get a 17-year?
Well, don't they have to
label?
speak to what the age of the youngest whiskey is?
It's a single barrel, and they're 17 or 18 years. They literally do this all the time.
Oh, okay.
They have a 9-year single barrel that's oftentimes 13 or 14 years, and they just don't pay to get that label.
So
They
then-
just put it under the 9-year label.
How can you confirm that it's 13 years? How do people know?
It says it on the thing. It says when it was barreled and when it was bottled and all that.
Oh, even though the labels, like the front says
15 years.
15
yeah.
years, then okay.
Yeah.
I'm following. The
Most-
back will say like bottled at, barreled at,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Most George Dickels that are 9-year single barrels are actually 13 to 14 years old, and most of the 15-year single barrels are 16 to 18 years old.
Interesting. Okay.
And the 9-year...
Learn something new every day.
The 9-year labels are $50, 50, 60, and the 15-year labeled that are actually 16 to 18, those are like $70 to $80 in a store. Buy those instead of this if you want to try to experience old bourbon on a budget.
There you go.
Don't spend $500 on this, please. But I actually enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it a fair bit more than Justin does.
Yeah. This is good. Like, this is not bad. I enjoyed it as well. I wouldn't spend the money on it, but I enjoyed drinking it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. But
My heart did skip a beat when you said $500. So.
I know. I saw that and I kept looking at the number to make sure I had matched up the right.
Like, surely I put an extra
Like,
zero on
yeah,
accident.
certainly I'm looking at the wrong number, but no, I was looking at the right thing.
All right.
There you go.
We got dickled.
Yeah, we did. Okay. I think that's it for today, y'all. Be good to each other. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.